What is up everyone, welcome back to Mainly Movies, the channel where we talk about, well, mainly movies. So welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about John Wick Chapter 4. Continuing from Chapter 3, John Wick is still excommunicado. He continues to fight for his life, but now he has gained the attention from a much larger threat, the High Table. And so I wasn't actually going to review John Wick Chapter 4 because I hadn't made a video in ages, but I thought I have to now because, I reviewed all the other ones and I'm getting back in the rhythm of making videos. And also, it's still relatively new. It's been out for a couple of weeks. I think I did see it about the start of this month. But anyway, I really want to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. But just before we do, I just want to quickly mention I have a short film that I just made with my friend Kent, who was in my very first Is It Really That Bad video a while ago now. But we made a short film a couple of months ago now. I just thought I'd mention it, and it'll be up here somewhere and in the link below as well. So definitely check that video out. We spent about 3 hours shooting it and I put it together. It's a weird little film, but yeah. Anyway, we're back talking about another John Wick film. It felt like only yesterday I was talking about number 3. But Chapter 3 was a movie that I felt like that was where the franchise was kind of lacking a little bit. I didn't like number 3 as much as I liked 2 and 1. But I can safely say John Wick Chapter 4 kicks it back into gear because this film is absolutely awesome. There was nothing wrong with the action or anything in Chapter 3. I just think the story was lacking a little bit. But it picks back up in this one, which the story just makes this film so much more interesting and keeps you engaged for the 3-hour long runtime. But I loved every second of this movie. It was so awesome. It was badass. Like, just Keanu Reeves doing his stunts, playing John Wick. He does an amazing job. That's the biggest positive of this film, is Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Also, they introduce a lot of characters. Donnie Yen is in this film and he is amazing. I really loved his character in this film. Ian McShane as Winston, he's great. And Lance Reddick, rest in peace. He is incredible in the scenes that he's in this film. The movie opens with In Loving Memory of Lance Reddick, which is also really nice. But besides from the performances, it ramps it back up from number 3. Like I said, the story was kind of lacking for me in that one, but this is where it kind of picks up. It doesn't go too overboard with the story. The story more so continues as each character gets introduced. So when they introduce a new character, that's when the story kind of comes in a bit more, which I love because John Wick has a past and we run into all of these people that he knows from his past, and it's great to see that. I love that way of storytelling where it's like we're diving in at the end of like John Wick's career basically, and so when he comes back into it, he knows all these people from his past and we get introduced to him throughout these 4 movies. One of the characters which I thought was really great was Scott Adkins' character. He was great. He was like this big mobster kind of boss and they play this game of cards. That scene was awesome and that fight scene was really cool as well. But I also really want to talk about the action. This is how you direct action. We don't need shaky cams. We don't need an abundance of cuts and edits throughout a fight scene. We just need the camera to hold on 2 stunt performers beating the living shit out of each other. Now obviously there's safety measures involved in making the film, which I'm sure this film had to go through a lot of safety measures. Just the stunt work and the choreography in this film is so good. Just like the other ones, it feels like a big dance number. It's just people moving so well in the frame. It's so hypnotizing and it's just unbelievable to watch. And Keanu Reeves as well does an amazing job. One thing I love that Chad Stahelski, the director, does so well, and he does this with all the other ones as well, not just this film, but just showing how vulnerable John Wick actually is. I know John Wick survives a lot of injuries, but also it's the fact that he gets injured is what makes us like the character even more. He's not invincible, although it may seem like he is. He's not invincible. He gets hurt. And the movie shows that. I think for me, this film is a toss-up with the first one. I really love the first one. I think the first one's the best in the franchise. But I also think that this one now is neck and neck with it. It is great. There is a sequence later on in the film that is unbelievable and probably one of the best action sequences I've seen in a film for a very long time. It involves fire breath ammo. That's all I'm going to say. And for those of you who have seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that scene is unbelievably well shot, performed, choreographed, everything. It is amazing. The set designing of that scene as well is awesome. Throughout the whole film, it's great. There's so many action sequences in this film. When I first came out the theater for this film, I remember thinking to myself, was that as memorable as the other ones? And now that I've let it sink in, yeah, it was. There's 3 major fights in this film. There's a whole bunch of fight scenes in the film, don't get me wrong. Actually, no, 4 major fight scenes in this film that I will remember for forever because they are so well choreographed, well shot, and well directed. I think this one, as well as the first one, is the most perfect John Wick film in the franchise. I actually don't have any negatives with the film. There's a great balance of story and action, and I also think that they give more to each of the characters. They give more to the pre-existing characters, which is great, but they also give a lot to the new characters that they introduce. Donnie Yen's character almost feels like he's been in the whole franchise. The way they talk to him and the way they show him and they show his kind of backstory almost feels like he's been in this franchise the whole time. And that's really great, and I loved his character, and I love the fight scenes that he has. But overall, I think this is a near perfect action film. I think it's up there with Fury Road as like the best action film of the past like 20 years. I think we can all agree that this is one of the best action films ever made. It's so great. The references to other films, especially at the start, there's a reference to Lawrence of Arabia, which is great. Don't know why it's there. Chad Stahelski just must love Lawrence of Arabia. And I think maybe because Lawrence of Arabia is a big, long, epic film, that this film feels like that. In terms of an example, I think that this film is like the Return of the King of the franchise of John Wick. Not just because it's the last film, but because it feels like the biggest and the most like action-packed and story-heavy out of all of them. I absolutely had a blast with John Wick Chapter 4, which is why I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 4 a 10 out of 10. That's right, my first 10 out of 10 of the year. Yeah, it is. It's up there with Beau is Afraid as my favourite film of the year. Don't really know which one. I don't like choosing, but at the moment these are my 2 top contenders for my favourite films of the year. Evil Dead Rise is also a close one. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys in the next video. So stay tuned, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.